This is a steal for the Toronto Blue Jays as rumors and reports are really starting to pick up surrounding the Jays signing one particular bullpen arm. We're going to break that down and discuss what it means going forward as some breaking news has just dropped surrounding Erik Swanson. So stay tuned for all that in this episode, folks. Before we get into it, if you're a part of the 71% who aren't subscribed to the channel, this is the place to be for daily Jays content. Your guys' support has been absolutely unbelievable. And ladies and gentlemen, the Jays obviously play a night game in a couple hours. Not many regulars in there tonight, but we have breaking news as it pertains to Erik Swanson and an injury. And it's the first bad news we've gotten all spring long regarding injuries. And in light of this, rumors have really started to pick up surrounding one particular player signing with the Toronto Blue Jays. So a bunch of things to go over today. Let's dive right into it. Now, ladies and gentlemen, there is a ton of things to break down, but I want to start with this. Came out 6 minutes ago. Erik Swanson's injury opens up a roster pathway for one of several relievers who have been impressing the Blue Jays decision makers in camp. Among them, Zach Pop, Tommy Nance, Josh Walker, Richard Lovelady, Braden Fisher, and Kevin Gowdy. Now, in case you're unfamiliar, Erik Swanson went down with an injury, and he's going to be starting this season on the injured list. So, not ideal. Now, for a guy who, in Erik Swanson, this is now 2 spring trainings in a row where he is going to be dealing with things. Obviously, it was with his kid last spring training, and now, unfortunately, he is dealing with yet another injury. And the injury, you can see right here, Blue Jays reliever Erik Swanson experienced right elbow discomfort and following a bullpen this week. He's been sent for an MRI, club awaiting results, but he's not throwing, not in the bullpen, and he is going to be missing some time to start the season. And devastating for Erik Swanson simply because, I mean, this is now, you were hoping for Erik Swanson. We'll dive into the signing here in a minute that we're hoping the Jays make, and some rumors are swirling around. You were hoping Erik Swanson was have a fully healthy season, come out and be one of the best relievers on this team. Now the bullpen took a huge hit, and it's going to be a bit of a problem going forward because not only is it a big deal as it pertains to, the bullpen's depth, which we'll get into in a minute here, but also, of course, they're a little bit thinner now. However, there have been some relievers which have been, impressing the Jays decision makers camp, like I mentioned, Zach Pop. But I want to see the Jays go out and sign David Robertson. Now, I was going to make a video on this tomorrow, funny enough, but now's the time to do it because the spot opens up. You need to go out and get a guy like David Robertson. And if you're unfamiliar with David Robertson, he is a veteran reliever who is still available coming off of an absolutely fantastic season. He's 39 years old, and that's obviously the biggest, concern here is that, yes, he's aging, he's older, all these different things. I don't really care about that. He's 39 years old. He's coming off of a season with the Rangers where he put up a 3 ERA in 68 games, a 1.7 WAR, and this guy is still available. And that's why upon the announcement being released about this injury, everyone is saying go sign David Robertson. And he has a nasty slider. He has a bunch of different things here, but you can see this here. David Robertson is still a free agent, and the Cubs are $27 million. Now, this is obviously a Cubs guy, but you can take it the exact same way for the Jays. 2024 stats, 72 innings pitched. He has a 33.4% K rate. He has the almost 50% ground ball rate, and for a team that prides themselves on defense, this is a perfect fit out of the bullpen for that. Doesn't get barreled up very much. 72 innings, like he is perfect. He would be a perfect fit for the Jays. It would be an absolute heist. It would be a steal, whatever you want to call it, simply because he's been an elite reliever in the past. Now, coming off of a great season, and it's not like he was horrible in 2023 either, put up a 3 ERA in 62 games. He, for some reason, isn't signed because clearly teams aren't liking something there. But for the Toronto Blue Jays, who take their first blow of the spring, thus creating another open spot for those who are vying for that final job, go out and get David Robertson. Now, it could make sense if they want to prefer to go internally with Zach, Pop, Tommy Nance, or lefty Richard Lovelady. I want to see them go out and actually get some upside in this bullpen because this bullpen, as constructed, can be seen as top 10 in baseball when Erik Swanson is healthy. However, you look at it here now. So you have Jeff Hoffman, Chad Green, Jimmy Garcia, Nick Sandlin, Brendan Little, and Tommy Nance, and Yariel Rodriguez. Things start to become interesting when you remove Erik Swanson. So you have Jeff Hoffman as your closer. You have Chad Green probably as your setup guy in the 8th inning. Maybe Jimmy Garcia is the 8th inning guy. Whoever you want to flip-flop there between. Then you have Nick Sandlin, who you acquired in the trade with Andres Jimenez. Brendan Little, who's been a fantastic lefty. Other than that, you have Yariel Rodriguez as kind of the long inning guy who has not looked very good in spring. Maybe you move Yariel up and just tell him to focus on 1 or 2 innings in particular and just go out and really lock in, right? Tell Yariel you're going to pitch 1 inning, throw it as hard as you possibly can, go, 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 go. Like, that's a possibility here. However, on the flip side of things, the bullpen now is a lot thinner. It is a lot thinner. And The reason for that is because Erik Swanson, I mean, you think back to a couple years ago when they made the trade for Teoscar Hernandez. Erik Swanson was one of the key reasons they made the playoffs in 2023. Coming off a horrible year, he had the horrible accident happen to his kid in spring, and now it's another year, second year in a row, where something has happened to where his ability to get prepared for the season and even miss time in this case is vastly and greatly affected. Now, if you get David Robertson, you can see this here. Seems like the obvious piece. I mean, every single team wants him, whether you think about, the Cubs, the Red Sox. There's a lot of teams vying for him. He's 40 years old in April, so conceivably will be more than willing to take a one-year deal. Lives near Rhode Island, looked great in 2024 with over basically 100 strikeouts and 72 innings, has closing experience, AL East experience, playoff experience. He's also his own agent, which is interesting. No-brainer, in my honest opinion. In my honest opinion, the Jays could use him just as much now, and it's very rare where you see this late into spring training, just a couple weeks away from the regular season starting, that you have a spot open up. Yes, you could go internally, but now I would be calling David Robertson's phone. He's played in the AL East before. You think back to his Yankees days. He was a very good reliever and closer for the Yankees. Very good reliever and closed, I believe, late in his Yankees career. Yeah, in 2014, of course, post Mariano Rivera retirement and things like that. He was very good. He is a very good pitcher. And I think now you really have to start to think about, I mean, they could still use a bat as well. I don't think the Jays are necessarily done. JD Martinez is available. I have videos on that. But the starting rotation looks solid. It looks really good. The bullpen looks really good on paper, but if you could add one more veteran, you're kind of going all the way in on these veteran pitchers anyway. You got Max Scherzer, you have Chris Bassett. Like, this is the all-in year. You have Jeff Hoffman, who is younger, but you have him for 3 years. Chad Green, 34. Jimmy Garcia, 34. Just go for it. Go for the signing of David Robertson, because why not? I guess Chad Green's almost 34. He's 33.8 years of age, so 33 and 8/10. So it's going to be interesting. Let me know down below what your thoughts are. I think ultimately at the end of the day, an absolutely brutal blow for the Toronto Blue Jays. It is very unfortunate, specifically for Erik Swanson, but also just this team in general. You need this team to be fully healthy, and that's the problem with this team. You left yourself so little room for error with the additions you got that if you don't have a very healthy season, you're going to be in very, very rough shape. If you have one of Anthony Santander down with an injury, Bichette, any of these guys, and someone in the starting rotation, although you can have a bit of wiggle room in the starting rotation, the bullpen especially, we saw it last year. This team, especially the bullpen, was riddled with injuries. Takes one or two injuries for your bullpen to go from the best in baseball to the worst in baseball. So ultimately, let me know down below what your thoughts are on this. Things are really starting to get a little bit crazy, and hopefully no more injuries happen, but it would be a steal for the Jays to get him. It'd be a one-year deal. It would be pretty cheap, you'd have to assume, because he hasn't signed yet, and he is his own agent. So bring him in. Bring him, not bring him home, but bring him over. He's going from Miami to Texas to Toronto. Could be an interesting little adventure there for him and a little trip, but that'll wrap it up. Let me know down below what your thoughts are. And also, let me know what your thoughts are on the Erik Swanson injury and if you think he will be able to bounce back. And hopefully the Leafs can acquire, or the Jays, can acquire David Robertson.